welcome back in. We are still here with lots of great financial information for you. This is Lowcountry Money Talk. I'm Jessa Jeremiah, returning with Phil Bloyd with Revolutionary Financial Group. And we've been sitting here at the desk. We've been talking a lot, learning a lot. Phil, it's time to switch it up a little bit. What do you think?
Let's switch it up. I like it.
We're going to talk a little bit about bonds, bond dangers. You know, we're really in an environment right now where interest rates are rising. We've got higher interest rates, and that makes people a little nervous when they're in bonds, considering, maybe investing. So what do we need to really be concerned about with this higher interest rate?
Well, if I'm in a fixed bond and I'm in there for a number of years and I may need access to those funds, well, it's a supply and demand thing, right? So if I'm in a bond that's paying me 3% yield and the new ones are coming out like 4%, the interest for mine at 3% is not going to be great. But let's say I need more than just the interest, so I need to get some principal of that bond. So I'm going to have to sell it. And to sell something, you have to have buyers. A lot of real estate people in this area.
Well, yeah, we know that, right? Supply and demand, we need buyers.
So,
okay.
There needs to be buyers and there needs to be a market. So if there's not much of a market for my bond at 3% because the new ones are paying 4%, by the way, if you were going shopping for a bond and they were issuing at 4%, would you buy mine for 3%, please?
That's a tough sell, Phil.
We're friends, though.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe, but that 4% looks better.
Right. So we're going to have to sweeten the pot, okay? So there's a term we call in the industry called a haircut.
Okay.
Haircuts are good when you need one, and I'm on the borderline there. But it means loss. And do you know why we call it a haircut?
Not really, but I have a feeling it's a better sounding term
than a loss.
Yeah.
So we sell at a haircut. That means you have to sell at a discount to get someone interested in buying your bond. And that's not a good feeling. So in a higher interest rate environment, that's going to be an issue with the bonds. I think the other issue that we have, Jessa, with bonds is that we have the Federal Reserve. They went out and not only invested in treasury bonds, they also invested in corporate bonds. So they have a lot of bonds to sell. Okay. And man, I'm a little worried about competing with them.
Sure.
So a little uncertain there for me as far as how that all ends up.
Right.
But we need to look at some alternatives to that.
Okay.
So
and that makes sense for somebody who's in a bond and thinking about or concerned about needing to sell. What about for those who are looking at getting into bonds? Does that mean it's a good time?
Possibly, because they'll be issuing at higher rates. Everybody likes to get more interest, I guess. We don't like to pay more interest, but we like to be on the receiving end.
Right.
There's other alternatives to bonds that we could consider. Banks have some issues, insurance companies have some issues. So I really say you should check around just to make sure, do I really understand bonds and this and that, and do I want to be in that, and what's the time horizon on me needing these funds?
Right, and that's very individual, of course, as well. So depending on when you're going to need the funds, and it might be an unknown.
Sure.
There's always unexpected events.
Yeah.
We're going to save a little time on this back end for some current events and some other things going on.
Awesome.
So you'll stay around. I've got more questions as per usual, and I know our viewers do too.
Sure. All right.
All right, we'll be back. More Lowcountry Money Talk after this break.